Dynamite.
He's only knocked one person out since then as well, I think.
And who was that one person?
GSP, who Matt Hughes has also beat.
How many times has Matt Hughes dominated GSP?
One.
And how many times has GSP dominated Matt Hughes?
Well, you're comparing fights, just looking at the fights here. Matt Hughes has fought 50 times compared to 21 times on Matt Serra. I mean, it's half the amount. It's really, he hasn't got any basis to win this. Matt Hughes has got 4 tap out of the night awards. That's more than the actual Matt Serra's submitted him in the UFC.
If that logic was carried through, then Jeremy Horn would be the best fighter in the world.
That's true. And he's had a lot of fights, I will admit that. But if you want to just get down to the brass tacks, 9-time UFC welterweight champion, the most decorated champion in the UFC.
So is it safe to say that yourself, Muscle Mo, is rooting for Matt Hughes?
I think that Matt Hughes could probably submit Matt Serra, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I think what started this grudge match off a long time ago is when Matt Serra was in the tough house and he watched his hero, Mr. Gracie, get his ass kicked. In fact, Matt Hughes nearly submitted him. But I think it would be even easier to submit Matt Serra due to the fact he's small and fat. So I see this going ground and pound in submission.
And I see it, the 5-6 of Dynamite, you and his club of Dynamite, and taking out Matt Hughes in the second round.
I don't see it. To be honest with you, I don't think he's got the cardio to go 3 rounds. At 170, he can be quite explosive at 155, but he's not got the discipline to do that.
Remember your comments, folks. If you want to put a comment in, you want to agree with the
mailbag.
Yeah, the Muscle Mo, you want to agree with Master Wang, leave us your comments. Like to say again, the comments we got last time, fantastic. We had some fantastic feedback. Most of it was positive. We weren't expecting that.
It's a lot less negative than we expected, but there you go.
One negative and the rest were positive. And
thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Over 3,000 views for a first show for 2 guys in Scotland talking to a camera. Not bad.
We're aiming to beat that this time, of course. I'd just like to go back to the Matt Hughes Matt Serra fight a wee bit. I was just looking down my notes there at some of the guys Matt Serra's fought. He actually has fought quite a few good people. Carol Parisian, BJ Penn, GSP. He's lost to all of them. Where on the other hand, you've got Matt Hughes, who's beat GSP, BJ Penn, Royce Gracie, Frank Trigg twice, Carlos Newton twice. You're right when you say he's a stud. And I don't see any way that he can be beaten in this fight.
So, we agree to disagree, we'll move on. What's the next fight covering? I
think we're going to skip a few in this one, basically to get to one that interests us quite a lot, and that's Sean Sherk versus Frankie Edgar. Now I think that brings back a lot of possibilities to it due to the fact they're both smoking hot wrestlers. I don't see this going to the ground due to the fact they're both great wrestlers. Also the fact that they're both dwarfs at 5'6". I think that's going to make for actually quite a good striking match, because I believe Sean Sherk is a good boxer, but
it's fast, explosive.
He gets caught out a lot, especially against BJ Penn, jabbed to death, pretty much because of his reach. That isn't going to come into play in this fight, so I see Sean Sherk probably sparking him second or third round. What do you think, Master Wang?
I don't like all props to Edgar, great fighter, but Sean Sherk is just he is a beast. The whole training thing.
Caveman training and all that. Well, was he not taking some extra gear there for a while just to help him along a wee bit?
His endurance, his work ethic, all that sort of stuff. You know, he comes across a kind of likeable kind of guy on the TV. So
I think he was away for the sport for a while. He was struggling financially. He was quite lucky to get back into the sport.
I was actually reading in his UFC profile that he worked as a tool machinist or something like this in the factory when he was just starting off fighting, and he used to go out at his lunch break and push the wheelie cart or something down, and they sprint in the middle of his lunch break, and everybody used to think this guy is crazy, you know. But look at him now, you know, he's been the champ. He's been the champ. He's making money, and he's going to win this fight. I'm
actually looking at my notes, and I'm seeing they've actually fought a lot of the same people. I mean, they've both fought Hermes Franca. They've both fought Tyson Griffin.
So what was saying?
Well, I'm going to say Sean Sherk's going to win definitely, because I mean he's definitely fought more names. He fought Kenny Florian, BJ Penn, Nick Diaz. He beat Nick Diaz. He's lost to a couple of good guys. One in fact who's really good, Matt Hughes. He's lost to him. He's lost to GSP as well.
Who?
Never heard of the guy, no. I'm putting him out to you when he's sitting smashing Matt Serra on the TV. So you definitely see that? You see Sean Chuck winning via?
Yep. Just
strikes?
Yep, via good old, I think, who was the guy he fought? Tyson
Griffin?
Yep, and it was, I think it's going to be similar to that. The wrestling's
Two
going to cancel.
Two short guys, good wrestlers.
Wrestling's going to cancel. They're basically going to turn into a boxing match, and they're going to go back and forth, and Sherk will do what he done.
I think when Frankie Edgar fought Gray Maynard, they felt he was just slightly out-muscled. He equalled him in wrestling, but he was just that bit smaller. And although he's not any shorter than Sean Sherk, I think he will be giving up a bit of bulk muscle. So I think he will struggle in the end of it.
In strength, yeah. So our picks for UFC 98, the main picks is
both Machida.
Both Machida, Serra,
Hughes,
and then Sherk.
Both Sherk, I would have to say in that one.
Yeah. So that's our picks for UFC 98. Now we're going to have a look at the recap, specifically Chuck Liddell's retirement and Anderson Silva's performance. So first off then we've got, again obviously, Chuck Liddell fighting Hua. Hua was looking smoking, and
I felt, to be honest with you, I felt for Chuck Liddell. I felt if he could have, I thought he was holding his own, maybe not winning in points at that time, but I felt if he could have dragged it into slightly deeper waters, he could have, although I didn't pick him to win the fight, I thought he could have put up a much better challenge. Although the guy's a multi-millionaire, I still feel sorry for him. He was gutted at the end, but he's getting sparkled big style now. I think it's probably his time for him to cut it.
But the thing I do like about it is the fact that he, it was one round, but he fought hard. He didn't just go out there and get pumped.
No, I don't think he was particularly losing in the striking department. When he did get put in his ass, he was mindful enough to get back up and score a takedown of his own. He was obviously thinking this could go the 3 rounds, but I don't know whether it's just he's a yard or two short of pace now. I don't understand this his jaw's gone thing. I don't get that. I think he's not moving as much now and he's getting caught.
He's fighting against these young cats that are hungry, you know. I mean, we all know that Hua at the top of his game. He's been
in the game a long time, but I think he's only 27. Yeah. Whereas Chuck Liddell's 39. He's an old man, but.
So that's official from Dana White. It seems that Chuck Liddell has retired. No more Iceman, but maybe a Randy Couture style.
Come back at heavyweight.
Yeah.
I don't see that. I think that would be a bad idea for Chuck Liddell going to heavyweight, just because he's been at the end of 2 or 3 brutal knockouts there. Can you imagine that, adding an extra 35 pounds onto a guy? He's just going to get himself badly hurt. I think it's definitely time to call it a day.
Liddell, Lesnar.
Ouch. The thing that the UFC obviously have to watch is you've got Affliction, you've got Strikeforce. There's these other companies that would quite gladly take Liddell, win or lose, simply because he'll sell pay-per-views big style.
No, you say UFC for life. UFC for life. And the other man, the main man in that card, Anderson Silva. By the way, we both, if you watch UFC 97, the predictions of the MMA show, you will realise that the predictions were hot. Yes.
You should have got to your bookie.
Yeah, we predicted it right.
Although we did say it would be a demolition and not an embarrassment.
Yeah, but nonetheless, a tick is a tick. And A. Silva, a lot of people talking about his performance and stuff like this, you know, being not the best kind of performance, not the performance he's been showing over the last couple of years. He never went in there and knocked him out and stuff. But I don't know about yourself, Muscle Mo, but I'm thinking, here, somebody who can go in, take no damage in 5 rounds, control the pace of the fight. You know, that's a win. You know what I mean?
I thought, to be fair, I thought he's been showboating a wee bit now. Whereas everybody, especially the American fans, just the average fans, they just want to see knockouts. That's where I feel a wee bit sorry for Talis Latest, in that he's been getting a lot of bad press saying he's a coward or whatever, saying he was scared to stand with Anderson Silva, which is true. But by the same token, Anderson Silva had options to go to the ground with him and he wouldn't take it. So Anderson Silva was as scared of his game as Talis Latest was of Anderson Silva's. So.
Yep.
I think it was just a bad match-up for the beginning, purely because Anderson Silva's a much better striker and Talis Latest is a much better ground specialist. So none of them wanted to get into each other's worlds, therefore it was a stalemate. And terrible to watch.
And therefore the champ prevailed.
You
So-
need to beat the champ.
Oh, that's it. And he took home 2 records. And the big thing hot on the UFC is the fact that they're going to fire Forrest Griffin, the Ultimate Fighter winner and hardcore light heavyweight, against